Hello. The the transition into massively zoomed in duck was hilarious. Hi, welcome. Today is a very casual day. I need to turn down the volume in my headphones. These are some aggressive ducks. I also need to turn up Spotify a touch. There you go. Greetings from the highway. Don't chat and drive. Straight winging it today. Yeah. Today is September 1st. Don't worry, I'm not driving. Good. You better not be. I'll come after you. Laying in the middle, waiting. What? Oh shit, there goes Zodi again. Man, you can't keep doing this, man. Where are we going, dude? Things are already getting out of hand. I've resumed from the last time that we were at this pool, so all of the ducks that we had the first time are back. I'm at a seafood dinner for my aunt's birthday, but I have a good stream. And enjoy your seafood, and tell your aunt I said happy birthday. Um, I there's so much happening. I've completely lost my train of thought. Today is another exciting installment of Duck Duck Goals, where we take a look back at what we accomplished last month and try and set a few goals for the rest of this month, because it is now September 1st, the year of our Lord 2024, and what the hell am I doing with my life? So that's the theme for today. It'll probably be a kind of a short stream. That's Zodi, you can't clip through the wall. It's not gonna work. I'm sorry. Bro is he's just doing his own thing, excuse me. The last couple of days have been difficult for me. And the worst part is there's no reason for that. Sometimes I just have bad days, and sometimes I just have bad weeks. I'm not going to call it what I think it is, because that's just what I think it is. I have to have a name for it, but I'm not gonna say what the name is, because that's not something that I can make the call on. I know that sounds needlessly vague, but what I'm saying is I don't want to self-diagnose anything that I don't have, but it sure does feel like how I would imagine having that feels. And I think that's all that I'm going to say about that, because I don't like talking about it in the first place. I just wanted to bring it up because I didn't stream as much as I wanted to last week, and I kind of just went AWOL, if anybody even really noticed. Um, and I apologize for that if you did, and I appreciate everybody kind of being patient with me about it, because if it is a problem that I do have, it's not exactly something that goes away. So it's something that I just kind of have to deal with sometimes. As much as I wish it would go away, and as much as I thought that it did go away, it sometimes rears its ugly head. I did, bitch. Well then, thank you for not making a stink about it, because that would only made me feel worse. So I appreciate your patience. It's something I definitely want to get better about, but and I've been on a pretty hot streak for the longest time. Like I said, I thought it was not really a problem for me anymore, but sometimes for no reason in particular, you just don't feel like existing anymore. Like I said, I don't like talking about that, so I'm gonna stop talking about that. Last month, hard to believe it was a whole month ago. So it somehow feels shorter and longer than a month ago at the same time, which is weird. But last month we set a couple of goals for ourselves. We actually set like a decent handful of goals for myself in particular, uh, and I got a few of them done. I didn't nail all of them, but I got a few of them done, and it taught me a little bit about how to set goals because I didn't know what was realistic. Now I do. Now I have a frame of reference to work with. For example, the first goal that we set was that I wanted to write 3 articles for the website, including the one that I had published on the first of the month. I did end up publishing 2 additional articles, making the quota for 3 that we set out. So that's one goal accomplished. I think I'm going to maintain a bi-weekly article schedule. I think that is posting 1 article every other Monday is probably going to be the idea going forward. I think that's a solid, maintainable posting schedule. I think that'll give me enough time in between posts to come up with ideas for additional articles to write, and give me enough time to make those articles of some semblance of quality. Oh my goodness. Which does mean that not tomorrow, but next Monday, we will be having another article posted, and then another article posted on the Monday that I'm going to be in San Diego for TwitchCon as well. Which, yeah, this is the month that TwitchCon is happening, and now all of a sudden I'm really thinking about the trip because it's like 2 weeks away. 3 weeks away, like 2.5 weeks away. I'm flying out on like a Thursday. So yeah, that's going to be on my mind for the rest of this month. The second goal was to work on the Conla Lore project, Chapter 1 of Conla Lore, which I also did manage to finish the first section of the lore stuff. It's on the website. It's not published yet. I have some plans for when I get more chapters of the lore done, and I'm going to kind of spill all the beans at once. So please be patient for that. But that's 2 for 2 goals accomplished so far. Do you mind? I don't like the planes. They're loud and obnoxious. But yeah, I think a follow-up goal for this month is to try and get Chapter 2 done for the lore. Maybe Chapter 3, because I did already start on a second chapter. It's not really up to my standards yet, so it's going to take a little bit more refinement. The next chapter, though, I think is one that I've been thinking about. So Chapter 3 is probably going to be a little easier to get down on the paper. The next goal on my list that we had was stream either 20 days or 100 hours. I just looked at my analytics today, just before stream. We were not even close to hitting that 100-hour mark, which is okay. We were close to the 20 days, but we didn't hit it, and part of that is because of the streams that I kind of skipped last week. I think we managed a total of 17 or 18 streams Uh, so to stream 20 days out of a month is certainly reasonable. Maybe not this month because I'm going to be gone for several days in a row. Not gone to where I don't want to stream or not going to stream, but like gone to where I can't stream. Like I don't have like a laptop that I could stream from, and even if I did, I'm not going to be spending my time at TwitchCon going live on Twitch. The whole idea is to go there and learn how to like network better, how to stream better, how to meet people, maybe set up some collab streams or something if that's in the cards. Um, the whole idea of the trip is to kind of improve my game out here, so to speak. Try to improve my reach, try to get more people to come by, and see what we vibe with out here. Uh, so maybe this is not necessarily a recurring goal to stream for 20 days out of the month. Maybe we just kind of shoot for whatever we can shoot for. Maybe we make it try and stream 3 to 4 days every week, and just if something comes up, something comes up. I don't know. That's the only goal that we didn't. Well, not the only goal that we didn't reach, but there were a couple of secret goals that I added without telling anybody, specifically for other secret stuff that's coming down the pipes. And when I say coming down the pipes, I mean like they're not quite on the horizon yet, but they're ideas that I have in my head that I want to maybe eventually get around to. I always talk a big game about these ideas, but I've had them. I have ideas that I find so seriously interesting that I don't want to talk about them because I don't want to ruin the surprise. Another goal that we had last month was to record, edit, and upload one video to the YouTube. It is a specific project that I have been working on. This is the goal that I need to make adjustments for, because I didn't know how much time. I'd never worked on a video project like this before. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. You're going to find out when it's posted. I'm going to try and get it posted around the time that TwitchCon is happening. I'm going to try and get it done before I leave for the trip and get it uploaded so that it's scheduled to post over the TwitchCon weekend or as soon as I get back from TwitchCon. It's a project that I have spent a lot of time gathering footage for. The next step is going to be some scripting and voiceover work, and then editing it all together, and then you'll see it when it's ready to go. The footage gathering and parsing through the footage in order to cut out what I need is going to be a lot of. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of my resources. So streams for this month are probably going to be on the lighter side between working on that project and going to TwitchCon. I am going to try and stay relatively consistent, though. So I'm going to try and keep up with Mythos Monday streams with Tsukihime. We should have just enough chapters left in this route of Tsukihime to carry us to the Monday before TwitchCon, and then that will probably be the final chapter of Tsukihime. Gonna pump out some more Wukong content as much as I'm able. Probably Wukong Wednesdays. It'll probably be Mythos Mondays, Wukong Wednesdays, and Fire Emblem Fridays are going to be the most consistent stream days for this month, barring, of course, the time that I spent at TwitchCon. After that, hopefully we'll see a few new faces here, and we can kind of come up with some fun new stuff to do if Wukong's getting a little stale by that time. Because I'm still... It's a love-hate relationship with that game, honestly. It's cool, and I love all the mythology, obviously, but at the same time, man, it does not take a lot for that game to get on my nerves, dude. And I don't really know why. Nobody doesn't quite like FromSoft, and I guess that makes me an elitist. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So, Out of the 4 goals we've gone over, we've gotten 2. Not great. That's a 50% ratio. Not good, but I mean, for the first time setting goals like this in kind of a robust, we'll check in on you later manner, it's all right. I'm finding out where my strengths lie and what I'm capable of in a month. Next goal was a consistent workout schedule. I did not come up with a consistent workout schedule over the month of August. I did work out as consistently as I could. Sometimes the weather got in the way of that. When it comes to my workout goals, I want to try and lose weight. I've put on a lot of weight from the last time I put on like 20 pounds since my lightest weight post arms. I'm embarrassed to do so. So what I was getting at was that I've been working on cardio and not really dieting, even though I know I should be dieting. Saying that I'm dieting and then eating whatever I want anyway, and then working on a lot of cardio to try and drop more of that weight so that I can get back into the range that I'm comfortable to start bulking again. Which is why, the weather, if summer's rainy where I live, so it can be kind of detrimental to go on runs, which is walking and running. Going outside is my favorite, like, cardio. I have machines to do indoor cardio, but I really don't like them. If I'm going to be doing cardio, I would prefer to go outside and go for a run or a walk, or maybe drive to a scenic place and go for a run or a walk, so that I feel like I'm making some kind of progress in the physical world rather than just standing still on a treadmill or something. So that's what I prefer. As far as consistency goes, I did go 1 or 2 times a week. I do have an app that'll show me. Actually, let me pull up those stats right now and see what those days were, because I want to know how consistently I was with that. I know I was not as consistently as I wanted to. I wanted to kind of do cardio every other day, whether that was a run or a walk. It didn't quite work out that way. It was like 1 day out of every 3, I think, was my most consistent. And even then, that didn't last the whole month because of weather and other things that came up. This is what I'm looking for. Let me see. Let me pull this up on my mobile device here. Yeah, wow, okay, so that was a little more consistent than I thought. Out of the 4 full weeks of August, so that's every week of August barring the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I went for 3 runs on the first week, 4 runs on the second week, 2 runs on the third, and 1 run this past week. Outside sucks, it's humid. Yeah, the humidity is always a killer. Every summer, if it's like any kind of humid, I want to die. So yeah, it's not exactly consistent, but it's not as inconsistent as I expected, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I think I call that a pretty, maybe not a 100% perfect goal, check off the list, but like that's good progress. I'd call that a passing grade, if I may. That's 10 times. That's 10 days out of 31 that I went for a run. So that's pretty good. If I combine that with a stricter diet, then I would probably have made a little more progress than I feel like I did. All right, so we'll call that a win. I'm going to call that a win because that's more than I thought I did. It's more than I felt like I did, which is telling, because if I felt like I didn't do as much, that means I could be working harder. That means that my energy levels are to a point where I could be doing more than I did. So I might want to try and boost that goal a little bit. Or rather, I do have the physical capacity to boost that goal. Again, with TwitchCon happening during this month, I don't know how... That's definitely going to throw a wrench in things. I don't know how dramatically it's going to affect things. The hotel I booked might have a gym. It might not. I didn't really look at it. I could always just go for a jog around the convention area. That's an option. Am I going to do that? Probably not. Am I going to be suffering from jet lag instead? Most likely, considering I'm traveling 3 time zones away. My takeoff time and my touchdown time are like the same time because of time zone changes. They're not actually the same time because I do have a layover, but let's not talk about specifics of the flight. Excuse me. The next goal was to design Enbar, the kind of channel mascot sidekick in the lore. Enbar, I've mentioned Enbar here and there. When we do more lore stuff in the future, I'll be able to paint a better picture of what Enbar is for you guys, but it's lore related. It's kind of a cute channel mascot as opposed to you guys who are the leaflets. The chat mascot would be the leaflet, and the channel mascot would be Enbar. I wanted to come up with an official design for Enbar. Actually, if you look on my offline screen, the boat that Colin is riding... Oh, not again! I just posted a clip of this on... Come back! You A-Lamau bastards. I just posted a clip of that the other day, and it happened again. You sons of bitches. At least I didn't take Bread and Fred. Anyway, yeah, and Enbar is the boat. And also a horse. And also a seahorse. I didn't manage to finalize an official design because I do think I want to do more with Enbar, and I'm not really sure how to do an animal mascot. That's something that I'm not quite as familiar with. I'm decent with character design, in my opinion. I like the humanoid characters that I have designed in my limited experience doing such things, but when it comes to like mascot characters, that's not really something I've ever done before, so it's weird for me. So I kind of struggled with it. I'm not sure where I want to go with it. I'm not sure how to make it unique, so I wasn't able to complete that goal. But again, it did help me to realize where my shortcomings were. I don't know if I want to call them shortcomings exactly, because I'm not much of a visual artist as it stands, and I have no shame in admitting that. So, hello, who's this? He's made of paper. And Emboar is a Pokemon. I did not. Emboar is a Pokemon. Enbar is not a pig. Enbar is a horse. Hello? Hey! Oh, you're dropping somebody off. Who? Alright. Oh, it's just you. Welcome back. Anyway, yeah, it didn't occur to me that Enbar sounds a lot like Emboar. Pretty sure there's no relation. Enbar comes from Irish myth. Well, Celtic myth, I guess. We could talk more about that if and when an official design comes out. or in the lore whenever that happens. Don't worry about it for now. The next goal was another kind of a secret goal that I don't think I'm going to talk about. Similar to the N-bar design, it's lore-related stuff. It's just stuff that's not ready to... Stuff I'm not ready to reveal yet. It's part of the big plans for the distant future. So, that one I did manage to make some headway on. I didn't complete it. Similar to the workout goal and the video goal, it's not something that we got 100% done, but it was definitely like more than halfway there. So that's 7 separate goals, out of which we got a W on, I say 4. 2 of them are complete washouts. Nailed them. The other 2 are like, I would consider them finished, although they do need some refinement. And that would be the secret goal that I just mentioned and the workout goal. The video goal, I'm marking that as incomplete, but I do know where. I now know that asking for that one video to be completed in just 1 month was above my capacity. So I know where I'm at in regards to that type of content, which is exactly the kind of thing I was looking for. Completing goals is great. Not completing goals, but learning why is even better. That said, it is no longer August, which means we got to come up with some new goals. September goals. I should do this in Microsoft Paint like Pirate Software does. Instead of physically writing it on a notebook on my desk, I should bring up Microsoft Paint. September goals. Some of these are going to be kind of related to TwitchCon, I think, which is a bit of a tricky thing to do because TwitchCon is not a whole month away. It is like 2.5 weeks away. Technically, it's like 3 weeks away, but it starts on a Friday, so I'm going to call it 2.5 for the sake of my brain. So it's going to be a little tough to really figure that out. First on the list is the video goal. That's going to take, if I were to spend a week going through the footage and scripting, and then spend a week working on the voiceover and editing, I should be able to have that done in time. I should be able to have that uploaded or ready to upload by the time I leave for TwitchCon. I expect that I should have enough time to do that if I really earnestly work at it. I'm gonna set a soft deadline. A soft deadline is going to be, what would that be, like the 15th, I guess. Soft deadline is going to be the 15th. I'm going to set a soft deadline for that. A hard deadline would be like the end of this month. Soft deadline is going to be, well, the 15th would be halfway through the month. Okay. So that kind of checks out. I think because I spent the majority of last month's work on that project gathering footage, not really sure how much footage I was going to need, I think that now I'm at a point where I'm pretty confident it should take me no more than 2 weeks to finish it. It might take me until the end of the month, specifically because of TwitchCon in the middle. So that's the only reason I'm setting a soft deadline at all. Is that I'd like to get it done and ready to go up while I'm at TwitchCon, but in case that doesn't happen, I'm not gonna sweat it, because TwitchCon is kind of the important thing going on this month. Speaking of this month, it is now September. I meant to mention this a little earlier, but for anybody subscribing to this or other channels, you get a 25% discount on your subscriptions, even if you purchase a subscription for 6 or 12 months at a time. You get bigger discounts. Gift subs are also discounted. It's a spending jamboree. For more information, you can check out Twitch on social media, but they're also doing a couple of smaller stuff, a couple of smaller things during September, such as bonus bits. I think bonus bits is starting on like the 12th, where every time you donate a set number of bits, Twitch will donate an additional percentage on top of those. So if you want to show your support for your favorite creators, whether or not that's me, now is the time to do it, because you're getting the most bang for your buck. Thanks, Jeff Bezos. How long is TwitchCon? It runs from Friday the 20th? Yeah, Friday the 20th to Sunday the 22nd. 3 days, like your standard anime convention. It's in San Diego, so I'm going to be flying out on the Thursday and flying back on Tuesday, I believe. So I'm going to be gone for a little longer than the actual convention is going on. But I'm hoping to maybe make some new friends, and I wanted to reserve Monday to maybe like hang out and explore California. I've never been out there. And maybe find some things to do, make some new friends, chat with people. I know that a lot of people going to TwitchCon are going for the same reasons that I am, that it's a business trip more or less, and I wanted to leave Monday available in case business opportunities came my way, in case I met people and wanted to chat with them and they were too busy during the convention. I wanted to have Monday to be like, hey, I'm going to be here an extra day during the week. If you're free that day, then maybe we can like grab breakfast, grab lunch or something, and chat, hang out, get to know each other a little better, something like that. Is that going to happen? I don't really know. Am I going to try and make that happen? I'm going to try and be social, yeah, because I am notoriously bad at that. So I'm going to try and put myself out there. And if all else fails, I dine by myself, and that's not a big deal. Anyway, what is this duck that just showed up? Hello, it's oh my god, it's adorable. Hello. It's a with a frog. Anyway, yeah, that's enough yapping about TwitchCon, I think. What is another goal for this month? What do I want to get done this month? I'm trying not to think about the stuff that I need to do for TwitchCon, because those aren't really goals exactly. Those are like those are things that I need to get done for the trip, more or less. That's not really a goal to accomplish. That's like a task that needs doing. I do want to continue with my workout consistency. Let's try and work on that. I'm going to be here for most of the month. I want to get exercise as consistently as I can, maybe 3 times a week, barring the TwitchCon trip. That's God, even then that's tough, and it kind of depends on the weather. I think I need to focus on diet, which is going to be tough. just because that's like an every single day thing. So it's not really going to be trackable exactly. It's just going to be whether or not I did it. Gene Swimmons has been stranded. He came out of the pipe too hot. It's all over. He's trapped. He has no method of propulsion to get him back into the pool. 07. That was a hell of a speed boost though, brother. That was crazy. So let me pull up a calendar here, just so that I have a visual representation of what September looks like. Oh, excuse me. I hope I'm not getting sick. That would suck. Something just came over me. I think 3 days a week is doable, even with TwitchCon in the way. I'm gonna write that down. Exercise 3 times a week. I'm gonna leave it at exercise, not specifically going for a run or a walk, doing cardio in particular, because as much as that is the focus right now, I want to leave it open in case I do want to do calisthenics or weightlifting or whatever I have available to me the week of and the week after the trip to TwitchCon. If I'm inspired to get some work done while I'm on the trip, if I find a gym or something, I want to leave that open to me. I want to be able to, or if I want to get some work done the week of or the day before I go on the flight, I want to leave it open in case I exhaust myself. I'm going to call it exercise, not necessarily cardio. So that'll be the goal. Is 3 times a week, which means I'm gonna have to try and keep an eye on the weather. I guess another goal, I'm gonna write it down, is to have 2 articles up. Yeah, to have 2 articles up the month every other week. No, I'm not gonna write that down because I've got posts on the back burner that are ready to go up. I that's not going to be a goal. That's going to be a consistent thing that we're going to be doing. Is every other week a post on the site. I am, however, going to try and get Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of the lore written and ready before the end of this month. Add more to the queue. Yeah, exactly. I've got a few articles ready and waiting. But yeah, I definitely want to try and add more to the queue. I want to go ahead and have an upload log ready to roll. Ooh, another goal that I kind of came up with on the fly sometime last week was I want to try and upload more clips to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Try and grab some of that audience. Spread my orbacular visage across the stars, and try to market myself a little better across platform. I want cross platform content creation. That's the term I was looking for. I'm gonna try and upload a new clip every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's the idea going forward. So I have a few clips from last month, like throughout last month, that I didn't post. I'm gonna try and make more clips from streams during this month. If you guys, while you're watching, see something that you like, see something that's funny, hey chat, clip that moments, go for it. Like, it's cool. It's easier for me to post clips that will be interesting if it's stuff that you guys already find interesting. If you think, hey, that was funny, I'm gonna clip that, that tells me, hey, streamer, I thought this was funny, you should totally share it or do more stuff like it. And it's fun and it's automatic feedback. So if you guys do see something that you think is clip worthy, go for it. Absolutely go for it. So how do I word this goal? Cross-platform content. How do I consistent cross-platform content? Be funny. Yeah, that's true. Goal: be funny. Difficulty: hard. Yeah, you can say that again. Y'all are way funnier than I am. Alright, consistent. I'm just going to call it consistent cross-platform content. Or CCC for short. In parentheses, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Because I'll know what that means, because that's the clip uploading and publishing schedule, more or less. So keep an eye out for that. Exclamation point links in the chat will bring you to my link tree. It's also posted as a link in my About page. Hello? Frick off. It's also posted as a link in my About page, and that will take you to my other socials, where I post those clips, my TikTok and my YouTube channel. Might eventually branch out, and I think Instagram's on there too. I'm gonna try and focus more on Instagram. I don't really post a lot on Instagram. It's not Instagram as a concept is tough for VTubers because you don't take photos of yourself. Some people do. Some VTubers they don't embrace the faceless meta. They post their IRL selves, which is totally up to them. And I don't want to do that really. Maybe in the future I will. I don't want to post IRL pictures on the VTuber account. Even my previous account, my regular like Instagram that I've had for forever, I hardly ever posted on anyway. So there's that. But I not having a lot of art, whether it's commissioned or fan art, and just not having a lot of those to post makes it a little tougher. So the only thing that's really going to be ending up going on the Instagram is going to be clips, just like they would be on TikTok or YouTube. And I don't mean to make anybody feel bad or feel obligated to make fan art of me, because that's absolutely not. You don't have to do that. People have made some fan art of me, and I totally cried about it a little bit, but because that's really cool to see. But that's never an obligation. If I want art, I should have to pay for it. If you guys want to make art for me or of me, that's your right. And I am eternally grateful for that. It was very cool to see fan art posted publicly, and it just was massively exciting to me. But again, to compare to I know I shouldn't be comparing myself to massive VTubers, but I'm going to do so to make a point. Like big VTubers, like the VShojo crowd and a lot of the really big indies, will have fan art to post on their Instagrams as if they were photos, and I don't have that, so you're not going to see a lot of that. You're not going to see a lot of that on Instagram. You're more or less just going to see the same clips as reels as you would on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So basically, it's a really, really long-winded way of saying I'm going to try not to ignore Instagram, but if I do, don't worry about it. I think those are four pretty good main goals for this month so far. I don't know exactly what I want to do next. Partly because TwitchCon falls like smack dab in the middle of the month, and partly because next month, being October, is going to mark the first anniversary of me starting streaming as a VTuber. So I have some more specific ideas of what I want to do for that date in particular. So it's going to be a little... I think it's probably going to be a little light on goals for this month. I'm going to try and set more, but if we don't really have the resources for more, then I don't know. Gonna kind of have to play it by ear. For right this moment, I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break. However, so you all hang out with the ducks for a minute. I have been very hydrated today. Okay, I'm back, and I brought a snack. Is this the League of Legends song? Maybe it's not. I think, I don't know. It sounds like a League of Legends song. Yeah, that's not that I listen to a lot of League of Legends songs because I don't play League. Um, I've never played League, as a matter of fact. But like, you know, you don't have to play League to kind of know what is going on over there. It's that big. I've got a meatball. Delicious. Alright, so next goal I think I want to write down is going to be kind of more business oriented. It's going to be a goal for TwitchCon. I want to print out new business cards. Or rather, I want to have new business cards printed. The ones that I printed out earlier this year to take to WeebCon, I printed out way too many of them. I got them for a good price, but man, did I overestimate my ability to just hand them out. I want to design new ones, make them a little nicer than the ones that I had. Maybe not nicer. Maybe nicer is not the right word. Make them a little more... I'm going to make them different. I like the business cards that I had. They're kind of dated because they were printed specifically for WeebCon. I want to make kind of a universal design. Something that tells you who I am, what I do, and where to find me. And that's it. I think the ones that I made... I think the ones that I made somehow have too much information on them. I think it really needs to just be my name, a picture of the VTuber, and then a link, like a QR code, and that's more or less gonna be it. Like a logo or whatever. I don't really have a logo exactly, but I do have a concept for one. I've thought about maybe commissioning an artist to kind of make a professional rendition of what my logo would be, but I don't know. I feel like the idea still needs a little bit of refinement. What up, Clay? Clay, we're setting goals for the month of September because today is the 1st, and there's a lot going on this month, and by a lot I mean TwitchCon. So, that's another goal. Sorry, I shouldn't talk with my mouth full. That's going to be like a subtype of goal, because that's like half a task for TwitchCon. That's like something that I'm gonna want to do for TwitchCon. Yeah, Clay, you're welcome to join in if you want to set some goals for yourself this month. If you want to say, hey, here's something that I want to do, and I want to share this, then this is... I'm getting ahead of myself. The idea of this stream is that I'm going to have a stream on the 1st of every month, and we're going to look back at the goals that we set last month and look forward at the goals that we're going to set for this month. So if there's any goals that you want to set for this month, or if there's any goals that you set for yourself last month, whether or not you made you achieved those goals and you feel compelled to share them, please do. What is this? That one's free. I love this. This is hilarious. Look at that. Be warned, it's not safe for work. That's, well, in a manner of speaking. I look like Kirby's Epic Yarn. What the fuck? This is awesome. Can I just plop this into... Is that gonna work? Oh dear. Well, that's not how I wanted that to work, but there it is. Love it. Love that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the beautiful fan art. That's really funny. I like that a lot, actually. Anyway, I completely forgot what the fuck I was talking about. Business cards. Yes, business cards. I want new business cards. Business cards for TwitchCon. But they're not going to be business cards for TwitchCon. Like the business cards that I printed for WeebCon, I printed for WeebCon. Like the information that I provided on there was accurate to me and the streams that we have here, but I kind of marketed it as hello WeebCon, this is me. I'm if we get 100 followers by the end of the convention, I'm doing a thing that's related to WeebCon. And I printed way too many business cards that I didn't end up handing out. I do still have them, which is the problem. So I'm gonna print business cards in general, that some of which I'm going to use at TwitchCon. And I'm going to print like way less of the ones than I did for WeebCon. Everything, all of this is a learning experience. I've made some mistakes. I have evidence of that in the form of approximately 950 business cards. I'm going to print maybe like 200 business cards. And if I come back home with like 180 business cards, that's fine. Those will be worth a lot someday. Will they? Will they really? I wouldn't be too sure of that. In the dark future where trees are dead and paper is worth its weight in gold. I dread that day, but also I feel like they're not going to be worth that much because there's already shit printed all over them. So, what use is the paper then? I plan on finishing my online art school. End of September will be 3 years mark. My digital art journey has been going from baby steps to giant strides. That's fantastic to hear. 2030, oh god, that's sooner than you think. I have a coffee. I have a VGen code. That's awesome. More power to you. More power to you, Clyde. VGen is a surprisingly good resource. I was skeptical about it at first when I first heard about it, but like, you got to have a code to be able to like sell on VGen. Everybody's got to have like a portfolio to post. It's a legitimate resource, and I love that. I'm so happy that exists for new content creators who maybe don't have the skill sets to do all of the things that they need to do for streaming or VTubing or whatever it is they do. And myself included. I did for the handful of emotes that we have and for future emotes. I plan on making more commissions through VGen. The handful that we have, the ones that were done by Tobias, obviously I just shot him a DM and we worked out a deal because we're friends in real life and have been friends for a long time. So we just worked that out. But any of the ones that I got from any other artists were through VGen. So that's a really good resource for that kind of thing. Now, could I have gone in Adobe Illustrator or more likely Microsoft Paint and tried and come up with my own ideas for emotes? Absolutely. Would they have looked like garbage? Absolutely. But that's why I like VGen, because I can get emotes that look way better than I personally could possibly ever create. So it's a fantastic resource, both for artists seeking commissions and for non-artists wanting to have art for their brand. I want to present my portfolio to my online art school at the end of the year. I hope to have a small indie game on itch.io. Ooh, that's an interesting goal. Krim and I together, in fact, in high school, dabbled in game design for a class, and I think that having a short blast from the, you remember that shit? I think I still have it on a flash drive somewhere. Somewhere in one of my drawers. I think I still have the final build for that game. I don't even remember what it was called, but I remember the mechanics and the art style that we went for. Yeah, we went a little goblin game. I think having a game or a small indie game, like a first timers type of thing, by the end of the year, if you start today, I think that's absolutely feasible. I think that's totally within reason that you could get it up before the end of the year. And I'll be cheering you on, Clay. I'll be keeping an eye on that. You better keep us posted on Twitter or something, because that, go for it, dude. Absolutely. What's up, Gilgamesh? So I didn't mean to ignore you. I was kind of on a roll there. Hmm. Oh yeah, you can do all your own art assets. That's so cool. That's super cool. I love that. Shooter games, I have no idea where you would start, but I dabbled in RPG Maker back then too. I never like made anything that was like functional. Oh shit. I forgot to connect the VTS React. Hold on. Let me fix that. Hold on. There we go. Thank you for the head pass, Gilgamesh. There it is. It's okay. It's okay. I fixed it. It's okay. There we go. All right. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, I never made anything like robust, but I did play around with RPG Maker back in the day. I think the game that we made for the class was, I don't even remember that. I think it was called straight up just Game Maker. That was like the engine or the program or whatever that it was made in. It was not. It worked for the class to like learn how to do it, but we it was not by any means like robust. It was fine for starters. How we been during the quackening? It's been a good time. We're discussing. We've gone over our goals from last month and how our progress on them, and we are working on setting new goals for this month and into the future. Like Clay said, he wants to work on making a game and getting it posted on itch.io before the end of the year. I think that's totally reasonable. Maybe my first shooter on Game Maker. Okay, then it probably was called Game Maker. That's awesome. I have no idea how you would go about doing that. I don't know how we managed to make whatever the hell we made in Game Maker. It was like a stealth game, sort of. It was Undertale was Game Maker. Yeah, that I could see. It's God, it's so. I got distracted. That's so weird. There's a lot that goes into game making, and I think that being able to make your own art assets is very important. I forgot Gene Swimmons was stranded. He's still out here. Being able to make your own art assets for a game is super important. I think Krim, it was you, me, and somebody else. I don't remember who. We most of our time working on the game was spent doing the art assets. How did this happen? He came out of the sucky up tube over there, absolutely Tokyo drifting, and he smacked into another duck, and it lifted him. It gave him just enough lift to get out of the pool. I remember who, but I'm not gonna dox anyone. Yeah, yeah. I think I remember who as well, but again, I'm not gonna. Yeah, not gonna dox them. They're gonna use Godot. I don't know what that is. Yeah, like that. See, everybody just came up out of the tube at a reasonable speed. Gene Swimmins, he put the pedal to the metal. It's the new Unity. Interesting. It's the new, widely available, what have you engine. I see. Because Unity guy's just the best. I remember hearing about that. I didn't really understand the details of what they did because it's just so out of my like field, I guess. But yeah, I heard that it was very bad news for everybody. Ah, the chameleon duck. Is Leper gonna touch him? Nothing really happened, but they all lost all credibility and nobody wants to use or learn Unity for the rest of the time. So I go for almost a year, didn't have much time. Yeah, that's always the trouble. Ooh, that reminds me. Another goal I wanted to set up was to work on my writing projects. I've discussed this before. Writing for the website, I want to have posts bi-weekly. I want the reason that I write articles on the website in the first place is because writing is kind of where my creative strengths lie. And to back that up, I have a manuscript of a book, like a fantasy novel that I wrote. It's not published, you can't buy it. But I do also have a draft of another manuscript that I haven't touched in, oh dear, probably close to a year at this point. And I want to get back to that. I want to get back to my fantasy writing. I want to get back to my big long-term project writing. I want to do it more consistently because I have kind of fallen back on the idea that, well, National Novel Writing Month is in November, so I'll just wait until November and then do that. Just send it to me. You don't have to worry about anything because I can't read. But well, would you just prefer like 100 sheets of unmarked paper? I don't. Is this a callback joke to the paper the paper shortage that's going to be happening in the year 2030? Do you have insider information? I just want to see it. Well, maybe if I get my act together, you can. I reading. What's that? Yeah, pyropups don't have enough brain cells for that. All we know how to do is spin and chase ball and break goal. That's what we know how to do. uh, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, wait a minute. Gilgamesh, behave yourself. I'm gonna tell Kage. I'm gonna tell her. You guys are fun. We spin. Excuse me. Man, I'm kind of starting to worry that I am coming down with something. Hopefully it's just my allergies acting up and it's not anything serious. Going to a book con next week? Hell yeah. That's awesome. I think my ex-girlfriend used to go to book cons. I was never really a part of that scene, even though I feel like I probably should have been. If I wanted to get published, I should have at least like shook some hands, learned some names, something like that. Kind of like what I plan to do on at TwitchCon. But now, at this point, I don't know where I want to go as far as publishing the manuscripts. My September goals: show some art to some editors if they want to get my. I guess they want to get my art on their books. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, get your name out there. You're ready to do some cover art, or even promotional artwork for not working necessarily with an author, but with like a publisher. Say, hey, I do art. I can be a marketing. I could do art for your marketing campaign for these books. You could do cover art. You could do promotional art. Yeah, that's hell yeah. I think conventions are a good way for doing that. That was my trouble with WeebCon versus TwitchCon, is that WeebCon, I'm used to going to like anime conventions as an anime fan and just like going with my friends and hanging out. And I fell into those kind of casual patterns, casual habits when I went to WeebCon. Versus TwitchCon is definitely more about the industry and streaming, which is why I wanted to go specifically, because that's what I needed to treat WeebCon as, and I didn't manage to do. I want it to be more business oriented, and book cons are also going to be very business oriented. They're for fans of authors, but they're also for publishers and agents and prospective authors to meet up, to shake hands, and to work out business related stuff. And to go there with the point of view of an artist, I think is a phenomenal idea. Being able to say, hey, I don't do writing projects, but I do. I'm capable of doing promotional art, cover art, anything in that visual vein to help sell the book. I can do that. I think that's a phenomenal idea. I think if and this is my opinion, so take it or leave it. I think that if you're trying to set a numerical goal, say I want to talk to this many people, maybe don't do that, because thinking about being social and going out there and putting your name out there in a business sense is way easier than actually doing it. Um, it takes a little bit of getting used to. I think maybe if you were, for example, if you were to come up with business cards that have like a link to your online portfolio, say, hey, if I hand out 5 of these, I'm gonna call that a win. And if I hand out more than 5, hell yeah. But if I hand out less than 5, I'm gonna try and push that, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, because it is a tough thing reaching out to people in person. It's a tough thing reaching out to people online. It's a tough thing reaching out to people in general, especially to try and market yourself. It's not easy. It's not easy to have the confidence to exist. It's much more difficult to have the confidence to say, hey, I do this thing, I'm trying to do this thing, I'm trying to like put myself out there, I'm trying to make something out of this. That's very, very difficult to do. So set kind of I'm proud of you for wanting to set that goal. I think maybe try not to make it too concrete. Set it to where you'll be proud of yourself if you can do it a little bit, but don't set the bar too high for yourself. You know what I mean? Make it doable, make it reasonable. Don't make it like harder than you can reasonably do. I'm too old to hesitate. That's my problem too. Is that I'm too old to not. I'm too old to worry about this kind of shit, but I worry about it anyway. I shouldn't be worrying about it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to be like a dickhead about it. I'm not going to be pushy about it. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I need to really try and make it work. I need to do everything in my power to make it work, instead of worrying about what other people are going to think of me. That's been a major problem of mine. I need to just be like, hey, I see what you're doing. I have similar interests. Here's my information. There you go. And if that's where the conversation ends, that's where the conversation ends. If they're like, hey, I'm doing this thing later, maybe we can chat, phenomenal. You just gotta go with the flow. I think that's really important. I think I really need to take my own advice. that's that's been a pervasive problem my entire life. Hey, take your own damn advice. You're so good at encouraging other people. Maybe just like do it yourself one time. Anyway, I'm doing a whole lot of yapping and not a whole lot of goal setting. I don't know that there's really anything else that I can set as a concrete goal for this month. I think the handful we've got, these 4 goals, are pretty substantial considering the fact that I'm going to be gone for a week out of the month. So I'm not really sure what to do next. First goal is to work on the video project, try and get that done before I leave for TwitchCon. Try and get that done before I leave for TwitchCon, if not by the end of the month. Exercise 3 times a week, whether that's cardio, weightlifting, calisthenics, whatever. Exercise 3 times a week. No less, and if I feel like I'm capable of doing more, maybe 1 more day, maybe 4 days a week. But I also want to give myself rest time because I know that that's also very important. Especially if you're lifting weights. If you're earlier this year, back when I was really lifting heavy, late last year and early this year when I was really lifting heavy, it was important that if you're lifting weights and you're lifting heavy and you're really giving it your all, wait at least 24 hours before doing it again, because your body needs time to recover. And make sure that you're recovering properly. Make sure you're getting the proper rest and eating the proper foods to restore your muscle mass as opposed to just giving you energy. But that's kind of getting into the weeds. And I'm certainly no nutritionist or fitness specialist, so everything that I'm talking about is diluted information from wherever I happen to hear it from, which could be any number of sources. So definitely don't take just my word for it. More lore. I want to finish chapter 2 and start and finish chapter 3 before the end of this month. Made some good progress on chapter 2, although I'm a little shaky on the details. I think it's definitely going to need a lot more polish. Chapter 3, I'm pretty confident I can get it in 1 more or less. And then more consistent with the cross-platform content. Like I said, there's going to be uploads Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of clips, shorts on the YouTube, and clips on the TikTok, and hopefully also reels on the Instagram if I remember that Instagram exists. And then as a sort of sub-goal for TwitchCon is to print out new business cards. I don't want to spend too much time on the TwitchCon-esque stuff or TwitchCon-related stuff, because that's like more personal and business stuff. It's just like stuff that I need to do for that. So it's not really a goal for September, it's a goal for TwitchCon. So just because TwitchCon's in September doesn't really make the two in the same. It's like a Venn diagram, basically. I think that's good. I think that's about what I wanted for goals for this month. I don't want to come up with too many so that I'm like overwhelmed and don't know what to work on any given day. I don't want to come up with too few so that I just do one thing and then cruise for the rest of the month. I think this handful is a good set of goals for this month, because I know that I'm not going to have the entire month to get them done. I know that I'm going to be spending a few days getting none of these goals done. I know for a fact I'm going to be away. So I think these are good goals to set. I'm glad that you agree, Gilgamesh. I think these are good goals to set. I think this is a good number of goals to set. I think these goals serve my greater purpose. Any goal as a whole, that's, well, something like that. Let's not look too deep into that hole. Anyway. Yeah, I feel like I'd like to add more, but at the same time, some of the things that I've got on my mind are like, oh, well, that's only a goal because of TwitchCon. That's not really like a goal that I want to get done for the month. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to really define things for this month specifically. I think next month, not having a convention to go to right in the middle of the month is going to be a little easier to come up with more goals to kind of get done for that month. And especially because I do already have some ideas for what I want to do for our VTuber debut anniversary. I have some ideas of what I want to do for that day, which I think specifically is the 16th. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure is October 16th. Gilgamesh out there, goal in the holes, I guess. I didn't say that. A breaking day ahead. Wait, what? What? Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Don't break the orb. Don't pop the orb. Don't. Don't. Stop it. I don't like that. I don't like that sentence. He's gonna take Aya and shove the whole thing up my... I don't want it. Violence. Where's that? What was it? Fuomoko? Violence. Doom music starts playing. That's another thing I want to... That sounds like something... That sounds like it would be a stupid goal to write down, but, like... I have barely any concept of HoloLive, because HoloLive does everything on YouTube, and I'm just on Twitch all of the time. I want to watch more HoloLive streams. I want to see what the Corpa VTubers are up to. I've been tangentially aware of HoloLive for a long time. Ever since first EN debut. Well, maybe not the first EN debut. Hollow Myth is when I started understanding HoloLive. That's where I started getting tangential information with Mori and Kiara and Gura. Oh fuck! He did it! He cast the game book! I wasn't ready! He's stolen my heart! He's pierced it! Thank you, Gilgamesh, for the bits. The game book. But yeah, that's kind of all that I know about HoloLive. I saw HoloLive, Hollow Myth. I know about them. I saw Hollow Advent debut. An uncanny ability to time those perfect. Yeah, yeah. It's all that practice you got with all of Cinder's sus ass sound alerts. I'm lurking on Twitch since Poma graduated, but I still go see Made Mint and some Hololive VODs on YouTube. Neat, yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I mean. Is that I'm pretty constantly on Twitch, and I'm that like it means I have no concept of the YouTube scene, like hardly at all. I do the sound alerts much. Yeah, but you surely you've learned from the other Pyro pups, because they sure do. They sure do. They sure do have good timing. Cinder needs to like stop saying things. That sounded meaner when out loud than it did in my head. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That was the war figurehead. True. That's true. Leave it to the King of Heroes to lead to be the general of the army that bullies streamers with their own sound alerts. It's a good time. But yeah, that sounds silly to paint as a goal, but that's something that I want to do, is to catch more like Hololive streams, or even just VTuber streams on YouTube. Maybe eventually I'll get my act together and figure out how to stream to multiple platforms, because that's a thing that you can do now. That's the thing you've been able to do for a few months on Twitch now because of their policy change. They you can stream, you can multi-stream now. Maybe I'll kind of try and figure out how to do that. I know for a fact that on TikTok you have to have 1,000 followers before you are able to stream. I feel like that could be a potential good place for drawing new audience members to Twitch. You have a specific interest in watching streams? Not particularly. I'm more inclined to tune into a stream if it's a game that I already know. Only because I'm like, oh hey, I know this game. I like this game. I played this game. I know this game. And I want to see somebody else's take on it, whether it's their first time playing it or how they do it or whatever. I don't know. It kind of. It's a bit of an enigma, because at this point I've seen so many streamers, and at this point I've seen so many VTubers, that it's more about the personality than the game that they're playing. And for a lot of the Hololive VTubers, they've been around streaming for so long that it's hard to get a good measure of their personality if you haven't been around that long already. Like some things are like, there's a lot of in jokes, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of things that the community has solidified by just existing there for a long time, where a newcomer might be a little confused. That's probably not the case. It's probably just me overthinking. Someone found their niche. Well, it's less about the streamer finding their niche and more about the audience finding their streamer. It's more about me like going and checking out all of the content that they have to offer and being like, oh, these are the chats that I prefer to hang out in. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way that I can describe that feeling, I guess. Like recently, they did a big Minecraft thing yesterday, I think, and I tuned into one or two of those, and I was like, I don't. First of all, YouTube's like a completely different environment, and we don't have you don't have all the emotes that we have over here, which disappoints me greatly. But but uh, it was a little tough to adapt to that new environment, and then on top of that was to kind of get with the program of what everybody in the chat was doing anyway. And then on top of that, it was a massive like intergenerational collaboration in a great big Minecraft thing that's been planned for no doubt months. So it was a little weird, but I wanted to tune into a couple of specific people's streams that I think might be interested in. Uh, uh, Back when I first debuted, approximately a year ago, uh, one recent Hololive VTuber that stood out to me was Shiori, because her full name was Shiori Novella, and her whole aesthetic was like the library, the storytelling, the novelites, I think they're called. And that stood out to me because, hey, that's similar to the niche that I want to do, is the mythology, the storytelling tropes, discussing in games how in game stories connect to real world mythologies or are inspired by real world mythologies. In game lore, in depth analyses of stuff like Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Wukong now, and the stories in the games that are self contained and how they may or may not necessarily be related to or inspired by stuff like that, and then even maybe telling stories on stream. So that's so I definitely want to see what Shiori does with that, because at least as far as her aesthetic and her branding, that's what it looked like she was doing, with a lot of storytelling type stuff. So I definitely want to check out more of her streams. Uh, Also, aesthetically, I want to see Calliope Mori because I think she's got a really cool design. I want to see Takanashi Kiara because I think she's got a really cool design and a very funny personality. I want to see, like, I don't know. I did watch a few clips of Gurda playing Minecraft back in the day, and she's pretty funny. But yeah, I want to kind of expand my horizons, because most, if not all, of the VTubers that inspired me to start doing this are here on Twitch, and more than, I think, probably actually all of them are indies. So that's really the only realm that I have any experience with. Obviously, Cinder, Lena was a big inspiration with her reading streams and her unfiction stuff. Um, Silvervale also. I know she started as indie and then was part of V Shoujo, and now she's indie again. Uh, but I've been around Silvervale and Yanners back when they first started being VTubers. I was there for that. So, and it's weird to me that there's like a whole half of VTubing, which may or may not in fact be way more than a half, that I just don't really have a concept of, and I want to try and be there more often. I want to try and see what they're up to, and see if they're doing anything that I'm not doing that I might want to try to start doing. See where their ideas take them, because as much as it's not good to compare and copy other people, to take inspiration from other people, like I took a lot of inspiration from Lena, doing reading and nonfiction, to do mythological cross analysis, which sounds way more complicated than nonfiction. It's cool to take other people's ideas and kind of make them your own. It's not cool to like steal other people's ideas, but it's cool to be inspired by other people and add them to your tool belt, as it were. I don't have a concept of it because I don't speak Japanese. That's the other hard part, is that any Hololive JP, I am totally out of the loop on, because until or unless I find translated clip videos, I have no idea what's going on because I don't speak Japanese. Nihongo muskashi. I almost know what that means. Nihongo Janai, I think is that's. I'm gonna stop pretending. I'm gonna stop pretending to come up with sentences. I don't speak Japanese. I know I've watched some anime, so I know some words. But yeah, I got no idea. Nihongo Jozu. Uh, 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 what's fucking what's the word for foreigner? I forget. It's like gaijin des. Gaijin des. Gaikokujin, yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Gaijin is rude. Oh, okay. So, well, see, there you go. Exactly. I don't know the difference. I didn't know Gaijin was rude. I could maybe have inferred that it's supposed to be rude, but I wouldn't know if somebody called me a Gaijin. I'd be like, fucking yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm even supposed to be offended. That's how little I know. I think it implies ignorance. Hmm. Well, I mean, there you go. So it can be used to describe most foreigners. I guess that's relatively accurate. I don't know. Ignorant until proven knowledgeable. Jin is, well, that would be a suffix for a person, yeah. Yeah, Nihonjin, yeah, would mean like the Japanese person. Yeah, that much I know from Dragon Ball because of the Majin, like Majin Buu. Majin Buu is Majin literally means like bad person or evil being. So Jin is like a being and Ma means like bad. Majin Buu is literally bad guy Buu. That's the only reason that I know what gene is supposed to mean in the context of a suffix for a word. And that's what I mean. The only Japanese I know is by piecing shit together from anime. Subarashi. uh, oh, I was about to say something else and I totally forgot what it was. My train of thought is all over the place. So I want to do more consistent writing on my writing projects. I don't know what I want that to be exactly. Consistent. I'm just gonna write down consistent novel writing. Not that I want to contain myself specifically to working on my novel manuscripts. I do have other like short story projects that I used to work on in the past that I might want to try and pick up a little bit because I wanted to work specifically on short stories because I'm very, very bad at short stories because I always want to make things super long and complicated because I like narratives that are. I like JRPG-esque narratives that just kind of go on and eventually escalate into entire worlds of their own. But I do want to work on short stories as well to try and practice my skill at short story uh, content, one and done type deals, and fairy tales. I like the concept of coming up with fairy tales as a part of world building. That might be my slight D&D background too. Started watching anime in Japanese because I stopped airing it on the channel I was watching. It's been 17 years since. You only watch sub now? Damn. I've never played a JRPG that wouldn't have been genuinely improved by cutting at least 20 hours of quote unquote content. True. True. A lot of JRPGs let's face it, have bloat. Whether that's grinding or padding or what have you, a lot of them could just be a lot shorter. Which is why I'm kind of picky when it comes to JRPGs. Don't cut out the beach content? True. Any of those DLC costumes, if that's what we're still calling them, leave those in. Yeah. Those are fine. That's why I'm kind of particular with games like that. I like Kingdom Hearts because the story it doesn't feel super bloated. I like Final Fantasy 16 specifically because the plot was paced relatively well. There was some parts were slower than others, but a lot of it kept me really engaged the whole time because after the opening of the game, it was pretty much like, okay, here's the main mission for this section of the game, and then you go and do that, and then the next thing is like, okay, here's the main mission for the next section of the game, and you go and do that, and everything it's full of like set pieces, and it goes fucking crazy. If you mainline the MSQ, yeah, well, yeah, I didn't, and I that's coming from a guy who didn't do any of the side quests in Final Fantasy 16, so take that with a grain of salt. I do tend to try and not do side quests specifically because I get burned out if I do a million other things on the way to the main plot. At least for a first time playthrough. I did the same thing with Elden Ring. My first playthrough of Elden Ring, I skipped so much content. I didn't fight Rykard, I didn't fight Mohg, I didn't know who Mohg was my first playthrough of Elden Ring. I just didn't know he was there. I'm pretty sure I didn't collect the map fragment for Mount Gelmir. I didn't do most of the shit in Altus Plateau that wasn't the capital. My first playthrough of Elden Ring was the only side quest I did was Ranni's side quest. I didn't go to the Deeproot Depths. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know Fia had a quest line. I didn't know D. I didn't run into D in the overworld. I just met him in the fucking Roundtable Hold. I didn't know any of that shit. Now I'm pretty sure I've done everything in the game at least once. Unless there's some other secret shit in the DLC that we haven't found yet, but I'm pretty sure we've gotten everything. What do you think is a good skill for a barbarian paladin in service of Baphomet in terms of woodworking? Or so like flavor skills or like tool sets more or less. Good skill for a barbarian paladin in service of Baphomet. You go to Deeproot. You just said no. In the playthrough that we did on stream, I went to Deeproot and kind of ignored it. In my original playthrough, I did not go to. I didn't know it existed. Barbarian paladin in service to Baphomet. What would his fucking hobbies be? That's ooh. I could see something like smithing, like silversmithing. Something to do with like the heat of the forge and destroying raw materials in order to create something out of it. I could see that being a kind of thematically relevant, but also innocent enough to be a hobby. I could see something like that. You have to go deeper to get to the Lake of Rot. No, you go through. Oh, well, I guess that is kind of that's like half of that's you go through like Shifra, but to get to Deeproot, you got to go like do a different area of Shifra. Lake of Rot is like sort of connected to Deeproot Depths, but you don't have to like. I think that's still technically Ainsel River Main. I'm under the belief that if a side quest is presented in a JRPG, it should be worth doing for some reason or another, but usually that isn't the case, and you can't know until you're finished. True, yeah. To get to the lake, you have to take the coffin in Deeproot. The one behind the gargoyles? Because no, you don't. I got there... I got to the Lake of Rot by going through the Nameless Eternal City by taking the portal from Rena's Rise. I got there as part of Ronnie's questline. You go through there, you beat the fake Blythe, and then you go down the elevator, and that puts you at the Lake of Rot. That's how I got there. There's one by Siluria's tree that will take you to the Lake of Rot? I didn't know that. See, even now I'm fucking learning new things about the game. God damn it. Yeah, the way that I accessed the Lake of Rot was through the portal in Rena's Rise. I don't know if that puts me in a different area compared to the coffin. I don't know. I didn't know about that. I didn't know whether that takes you where. I don't know where that takes you in the Lake of Rot. I knew that they were connected because somewhere in the Deeproot depths I accidentally wandered onto a cliff that was overseeing the Lake of Rot, but I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that previously. I might have to check that out. I have to open up the old Conla save file and play around. There was something else I wanted to write down as like a soft goal, but I completely forgot what it was. To be fair, I'm also the one that stumbled into the snowfields. Yeah, the consecrated snowfields and the Halig tree, I didn't know a damn thing about in my first playthrough. I did not get the map fragment for the consecrated snowfields, that's for sure. I had no fucking idea they existed. Everybody's talking about Melania, and I was like, how do I get there? And everybody was like, she's in the Halig tree. And I went, what the fuck is a Halig tree? Oh, man. Yeah, my first playthrough. I proceeded to walk off a cliff blind? Yeah, that'll happen. That checks out. My first playthrough of Elden Ring was very bare bones. I think I beat Radahn. I think I beat Godric and Radahn and Renala. And then after that it was just the main bosses, Morgott and Fire Giant and everybody in Far Missoula, and that's it. I prefer to use the term pure. That's a more positive way to look at it, I think. That's for sure. We got so many ducks, I don't even know who's new and who's not. Untainted by outside knowledge or expectations. Yeah. Yeah, it went almost entirely unspoiled, I think. First time against the duo was torture. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I brought in fucking reinforcements. I summoned Bernal, and I had the 3 lone wolves because I didn't bother upgrading any other summon until I found the Mimic Tear. And I didn't find the Mimic Tear because I didn't want to use all of my Stone Sword keys because I didn't know if I would get many more. I think the only things that I had spoiled for me on my first playthrough were Ronnie's questline, because I specifically was like, wait a minute, everybody else is like summoning things, and I'm not doing that. It's because I missed Ronnie's first appearance. So then I was like, okay, if you miss her, you can get the bell from her if you go visit her at Caria Manor, and that's what I did. And then I started her questline, and I was like, oh hey, Blythe is here. So... These big weapons works. Hot take, I don't think summoning ghosts help makes the bosses so much easier in Elden Ring. Yeah. I think part of it depends on what your summons are, but at the same time, sometimes the summons are fucking useless, so they really only draw aggro one time and then die, so it doesn't really make it that much easier anyway. Not a promise. Oh, God. I don't know how I would do that fight without at least having fucking Mimic Tear, bro. Bringing Ansbach and Tiolier in, big mistake. Way too much health, can't handle it. But just having Mimic Tear and doing it without anybody and not summoning a spirit, oh God, how the fuck would I even? Health boost and how unpredictable the combos get is a different kind of difficulty. Yeah, I could agree with that. As an summons are an interesting addition to the game. Gives the opportunity to become Lady Yuna. Now, I haven't played Final Fantasy X, but I do understand what you mean by that. Yeah, doing it without any help is definitely pain. I definitely. I'm not such an elitist that I think that, oh, you shouldn't be using this weapon because that's cheating, or you shouldn't be summoning because that's cheating. I don't think that. I do think that if you're playing the game specifically by cheesing every boss that you possibly can, I think that's a little lame. I think you should really just give it an honest try. But I don't think like using Blasphemous Blade as your build or using a Bleed Frostbite build, I don't think that's cheesing because you still have to like you still have to play the game. You still have to put in the work to beat the bosses. Maybe it's not as difficult, but it's still like, it's in the game. If you put it together and you do it the way you want to do it, there you go. Well, then again, if your idea of having fun is cheesing the shit out of every boss, more power to you, bro. I don't pay your sub. Like, who cares? I didn't buy the game for you. I have no right to tell you how to play. Oh, those melee-only Claymore purists are so funny because that's one of the easier ways to play most of the Souls franchise. True, yeah. Those Zweihander, yeah. It's gameplay how you want. Let me play how I want. True. So I do enjoy breaking. Yeah, there is some rewarding. There is something rewarding in absolutely like obliterating the game mechanically, like at making the most meta shit and tearing things apart. I just think that if you wait for other people to beat the game and figure out how to do that, and then that's your first experience hands-on with the game is tearing through it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I think that's all I'm really trying to say, is that if you want to play a game, go in blind. Go in fucking it up. Figure shit out. And just have fun. And then if you're not having fun, alright, go watch a YouTube tutorial on how to make it more fun. It is cathartic. I definitely get that. I have been experimenting with certain builds offline and playing around, especially playing around with the new stuff that they added in the DLC. Oh man, that's so much fun. Bullying the shit out of enemies with some of the DLC stuff that they've never seen before. That's so much fun. First go at Dark Souls 1 involved approaching many of the bosses like puzzles because my build was so awful I couldn't survive even with 10 full Estus. Rough. My first playthrough of Dark Souls, I created Quelaag's Fire Sword right before realizing that there was an entire section of the game that had fire-resistant enemies. That being like the whole fucking second half of the game. I went past Quelaag's Arena into the underground Lost Izalith. Everything leading up to Lost Izalith were all bosses that were made out of fire, and I was using a fire damage weapon. I was like, okay, this is a dead run. I have to start the game over and not do that this time. It was brutal. Silica weapon in general. It was cool. It was fun. I liked the curved sword gameplay, but man, was I doing zero fucking damage to fire-based bosses, of which there were like 3 in a row. Oh my god, that sucked. God, oh, I still remember that. That's why I rarely go into elemental damage in most RPG type games. That's a good rule of thumb. That is a good rule of thumb. Stay away from elemental damage unless you know for a fact that you can vary it by the boss or that you can respec. Oh, man. Yeah, we're doing a lot more talk about RPGs and Souls-like games than I expected to do this stream. I was hoping to focus a lot more on the goals and stuff. I don't know. I think I just I don't really have too much to add as far as goals go. I want to keep up the good stuff that I worked on last month. I want to work on slightly new stuff this month. I think doing this stream at the beginning of last month helped me a lot, and I think doing this stream today also helped me a lot because it gave me the opportunity to look back on these goals and talk about my thoughts as we went through them. Talk about what I was able to accomplish, what I wasn't able to accomplish, what I was able to learn based on what I was and was not able to accomplish in that amount of time. Especially when it comes to making video content. Because I did want the bulk of my stuff to be writing and streaming. But I do think that I have a few interesting ideas for longer form video content that I want to try and gauge my productivity with. And I think that setting the goal to have that one video up by the end of last month and then not meeting that goal was very important. Because now I know more of a timeline of what I'm going to need to get that type of video done. Could I do it in a month? Yes, but I might need to make more sacrifices on the streaming and the writing end that I don't necessarily want to do. So it's a bit of a give and a take, and it's important to me that I learned that. So I'm glad to have done this stream today. I'm glad to have done this stream a month ago, and I'm glad that I'm going to establish this Duck Goals as a glorified Just Chatting stream, talking about monthly goals and sharing those goals with you guys, and maybe inspiring you guys to come up with some monthly goals yourself, because it's all about living and becoming better. It's all about growing. It's important. I feel like I've spent a lot of my life, a lot of my time on this earth, stagnating. Going through the motions and doing things just because other people told me to. And I want to break that cycle, break that habit, and do things, not just do things that I want to do, but do things in a way that promotes positivity, that promotes growth. And I also think that it's important to check in, because if you just keep doing and doing and doing, you get lost in the sauce, or you look at all the things that you're doing or not doing that you should be doing or want to be doing, you get overwhelmed and you don't end up doing anything at all. if I tell you to break that habit, does that create a paradox? I think yes. But then in the end, that's my decision, so uh, who's to say? There were two Linkin Park songs in that one sentence. Breaking the habit and in the end. I hate myself for that. I hate myself for that. That was stupid. I didn't need to bring it up, but my brain made that connection. All right. Chat, I would like you to share with me one goal that you have for this month. Clay, you're exempted because you already talked about it, and I'm very excited to hear about your adventures with that. But chat, if you're so inclined, I don't want to put too much pressure on you guys, but I would like to hear either one goal that you accomplished last month or one goal that you want to accomplish this month. Goldfish, done. I feel like that's a cop out, but I'm gonna accept it anyway because I don't want to put too much pressure on you guys. But I'm interested. I want this to be a shared experience. That's why I wanted to do this on stream as opposed to just setting goals for myself and just doing whatever. I want us to hold each other accountable. I want us to encourage each other. I want us to encourage each other to accomplish and celebrate our accomplishments with each other. I want that to be the idea of these Duck Duck Gold streams. I already told you I successfully moved my empty cans into the trunk of my car, and that took almost a month. That's true. You did, Brent. You did mention that, and I do remember you talking about that. So there you go. Hell yeah. So this month they will be recycled. Excellent, excellent. Love to hear that. That's fantastic. I would do the same thing, but I don't even drink soda cans anymore. I'm on that gamer subs train, dude. It's way better for my health because they don't have sugar and like gross sweeteners that are bad for you. And if they aren't, may God strike me down. That might be a little extreme for the cans, but hey, you know what? You do you. With a flying ice cream truck. And live. There you go. There's the bit. Last month was to get back into D&D, and that was a success. Hell yeah. I'm glad that you were able to rediscover that passion for the game. I know that a lot of people who are into D&D are really passionate about it. I don't know if I would say that I'm passionate about D&D, but having played it both as a player and a DM, I have a relatively good understanding of the game, so that when people talk about it, I understand why they're passionate about it, even if I don't know that I would consider myself passionate about it. I am passionate about it in as much as the storytelling goes, because that's kind of my whole shtick, as I'm really into storytelling and mythology and lore and that kind of stuff. That sentence kind of got away from me. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I hope you understand what I was trying to get at there. I'm glad that you're passionate about it and we're able to reignite that passion, and I'm glad that I'm able to understand that passion because I have done it myself before. I think that was kind of my point. A new goal is to eat healthier and learn to make better food. That is, oh my God, that's so important. That's such a good goal. Eating healthier, it's very hard to do, especially if you're like on a budget and you got to like get your own groceries, because a lot of healthier foods tend to be more expensive, which is part of the problem. That's a huge like systemic issue, but like learning to make better food, that's also super important. Learning to be able to make food that is filling, wholesome, healthy, and being able to do it with foods that you're familiar with. Like, for example, my household is primarily a beef household. The protein that we work with most of the time is ground beef. And being able to make a variety of meals with that one ingredient is very important. Obviously, that's not the only ingredient that goes into making those meals, but like we can do meatballs with pasta, we can do cheeseburgers, we can do tacos, ground beef tacos, and it's learning how to use food as ingredients in order to make things more filling, more wholesome, and more healthy. I think is a very noble aspiration. And cooking is just a good skill to have in general because I believe that everybody should know how to cook. Maybe not necessarily how to cook well, but how to cook for themselves, because it's an important skill to have. Family's mostly beef or pork with potatoes. Nice, yeah, yeah. Everybody's got their staple foods. But yeah, that's very good. That's very important. I think that's as opposed to Clay's goal. Not to call you out or anything. I think that learning to make better food is an easier goal to uh, number to make. Like, okay, I want to learn how to cook 3 different meals using at least 2 different kinds of ingredients. I think that's an easier goal to set 2 numbers to make it more of a concrete, okay, yes, I've accomplished this, as opposed to Clay's goal of being like, I want to reach out to people and put my portfolio out there to garner attention as an artist. I think that Clay's goal is harder to numerize because there's a lot more social pressures that go into it, as opposed to I want to make food. I want to that you can boil that down to I want to learn these recipes. So I would encourage trying to do that, trying to set that goal to numbers, so that you can have a more concrete finish line. I think I prefer beef, but I was put on this earth to murder chicken, so that is my path. That's a way of putting it. All right. I think I've done just about enough yapping for today. We've established some goals. I think they're pretty positive ones. And we had some cool chatting. So, okay, good, they're back up. It's raid time, and you know who we're raiding? We're raiding Tolk. Why are we raiding Tolk? Because Tolk has finally debuted their 1.0 model. He is no longer the chibi boy. He is the full-fledged eldritch abomination that we always knew he was. So, raid Leaf, send him some love, and if you're financially stable, give him a little support on the sub side too. Go for it. Hey Kage, what's up? I should have known you were lurking. I'm trying to make a raid message for us a better one. I like Raid Leaf because it's the pun, but I'm open to suggestions for sure. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Um, I've been lurking. You're always lurking. That's just what you do. I should have known. Some part of me did know. Uh, oh, what the hell was I about to say? Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for talking with me about your goals. I appreciate you sharing that stuff with me. Um, I do think that it's important to be able to talk about stuff like that. So, thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Should have a schedule up on the Twitter probably tomorrow.